to the Sports Mom Playbook.
Welcome to the Sports Mom Playbook, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes with real moms and industry experts for all things sports to help you start or make more use of your time on and off the field.
Get ready for this binge-worthy podcast with some special guest appearances. Laugh along and join us in what we love doing, celebrating the true MVPs of the game, moms.
Let's do this. You know the sound of a game day, the crack of a bat, the roar of a crowd, and of course the smack of sunflower seeds. And nobody does it better than smacking sunflower seeds. These aren't your average convenience store seeds. We're talking bold, addictive flavors, less mess, and packaging made for the ballpark grind. From dill pickle punch to sweet heat barbecue, Smackin' Seeds brings the flavor and the attitude. Perfect for dugouts, road trips, and yes, even sideline snacking for sports moms like a little crunch with their cheer. Family owned, just like your local league. Stock up at smackinsunflowerseeds.com and use code Rachel84257 for 10% off your first smack-worthy stash. Smackin' Sunflower Seeds, fueling your season one smack at a time. Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Sports Mom Playbook Podcast. I'm Yaritza.
And I'm Rachel.
We are going to be talking about a very important topic, which is the car ride home.
Oh, yes.
After a tournament. What do you say? What don't you say? How do you handle things? So let's deep dive. Let's get into it.
This is a really it sounds silly, but this is an important topic.
It is.
I will also add that there are certain times where I can see the parents and they're not on our team. I just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
And I will see the parents and just their attitude, and I'm like, ooh, I do not want to be in that car.
Yes.
Yes. It's almost like watching a volcano. And they're just bubbling. Boom. And then as soon as they get in the car with all the doors closed, they just they've lost their gasket. It automatically makes me think of what's that movie with the little red guy and his head?
Inside Out.
Yes.
Little anger dude. Yes, and he has flames come out of his head.
Where he's just mad, and you can see the parent pacing along the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just automatically what I think of.
I feel like that's so hard.
Yeah.
That's so hard. I mean, I know that games can get very emotional.
Uh-huh.
Parents can get very emotional during a game.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to keep it cool. You have to keep it cool. And I think the car ride home is it kind of makes it or break it, I feel for a kiddo in the car.
A few things. Again, your kid.
Correct.
Some kids want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's
Some
fair.
kids are really upset. I've seen kids going home crying because they missed a play or they struck out.
Or they feel like it's all their fault that their
Correct.
team lost because they were the last at bat or whatever the case may be.
Correct. Or say, I've seen it too where it happens. You're up 10, the other team has 0, and then all of a sudden they come back and they I've seen it. It's frustrating.
It is.
It's part of the sport. And there are some kids that do want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I think it's, you got to know your kid.
Yeah.
But I've also seen kids where we're on the field and the coaches are having that huddle and talking about hey guys, and it's positive. It's not a negative. And kids are oh man, I don't want to go home. I'm scared.
I'm terrified.
Right.
Yeah.
So
how does Grayson, what's your car ride home look like?
So I have to be fully transparent. Our car ride home used to be bad.
Yeah. And that's good. That's good to talk about.
Keaton doesn't sugarcoat things with Grayson.
Yeah.
And that is something he's a child. We expect certain things from him, but he also doesn't sugarcoat it. He's not oh, you played great when he didn't. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
It does. It makes total sense. I know what you're talking about.
We are very transparent with our kids.
Yeah.
We're very honest. We are their biggest supporters, but we don't fluff it up to make them feel good.
Yeah.
Right. We don't fluff it up to make them feel good. It's just, you didn't do
and
great
Grayson's
today. But he he takes it and he understands it. We're not yelling at him you fucking sucked. We're not like that. But we're also yo, dude, what
happened?
What happened at the plate today? Your load was not really there.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It could be, right?
Yeah.
Just what? So but it used to be more of that type of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you got in the car, it was we were immediately talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there was a few times where Grayson was just frustrated and would cry.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I would go home and like the last thing you want to do is like see your kid upset.
Yeah.
And he wasn't upset about the conversation. He was upset of how he played.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Keaton would always be like, listen, when you're up there, like you only get so many chances
Mm-hmm.
to bat or make the play. Like you have to put in 100% effort. Like we talk about it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
effort. Like you can't be worrying about, oh, well, your sister got an icy. Like, come on, dude, we're past that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, now it is like we're in the car and it's Grayson brings it up. Like we don't even say anything.
Yeah. He just,
it's more like Keen and I are more like, all right, well, where do you want to go to eat? Like,
Yeah, like,
what are we
just
doing
normal
for the rest of the day?
yeah.
Normal stuff. Got to let the dog out, you know, depending on how
Mhm.
long poor Joey's been in the crate.
Yeah.
And then like Grayson will just be like, hey, I'm really upset, or like, can we talk about it? And we let him
Navigate
have the
that.
conversation. Initiate it. What does he
Yeah.
want to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not always like him. It's like, well, this kid in the dugout said this.
Yeah.
When I
It's
struck
more of
out.
the emotional aspect of it,
Correct.
social emotional aspect of it
Correct.
versus the skill of or whatever
Yes.
performance
Yes.
based. Okay.
So we've learned that. You know, but like then like the next day, like we don't even talk about necessarily like his, like it's whatever he wants to talk. He's in control of the conversation. You know, sometimes he's just like, hey, can I pick the next song on the radio? Like,
yeah.
and it's just, we're just chilling in the car.
Yeah.
And I feel like you don't want your child to be afraid of failing, right? Like failing is an aspect of life. Even as a grown adult, like you fail, you make mistakes. Like
let them fail.
Let them fail. Let them figure it out and let them say, you know what? Like I didn't like how that made me feel. So like I'm gonna do this, and like what can I do to make it better?
Change
right?
the outcome. Yeah.
And I think when you're in the car, like sometimes those tournaments, like you're an hour away.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of
There's
time. And it's like, do you really want to be that mad? I don't know.
Yeah. I would say the way that we do car rides, like I think that it has progressed from what it used to be to now. Patrick, the way he handles it, because he's coach and dad, I feel like you have to wear different hats. Because it's hard when you are trying to be coaching your own kid and giving them feedback, but are you giving them feedback from with your coach's hat on? Or are you doing it from a dad's perspective? Because I feel like it hits a little differently depending on what the topic is, right?
Right.
So with us, Patrick, it also depends on the kid, to your point. Like every kid is very different. I know Arya, when she's upset about they had a bad game or she performed not to where she is used to performing at, she takes it very personal, but she kind of keeps it locked in. Like she's like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, just leave me alone. I need my moment.
Like she needs time to almost process it herself before she talks about it.
Correct. And then I have the other flip of the coin with Brayden. He is my emotional teddy bear, where he gets very emotional and he shares his emotion onto his sleeve. And you already know, I mean, you witnessed it. We were like, Brayden's crying after a huddle. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's very upset and very angry. And helping him process through those emotions. And we try to keep it, you know, hey, bud, like it wasn't your fault. Like it's a team sport. Like, you know, there's opportunities that were missed, or like these are areas where we could work better at, but it's okay. This is your first time trying something new, or this is the first time that your team tried something new, and you can't take it personal. So I think having those encouraging conversations with your kiddos in the car is so important, because sometimes kids take it very personal and they think that it's their fault that their whole team failed. And that's not the case at all. I think it's just a matter of how you address it. But if you have a kid that's like terrified to get in the car to share that, or like have that safe space to talk to your parent or another adult about it, like that's hard. That's really
But that's
sad.
how you ruin the sport for your kid.
Yeah.
And that's how then they're like, I don't want to be out there and I don't want to put in any effort
because I'm going to get yelled at
no matter what.
You know, like that's not fun.
Yeah. And I think like you said, it just certain kids can handle a different level of like analyzing and criticism. Correct. And it's all about how you deliver it. And
delivery is so important.
There are times where I know even Keaton will like go to Patrick and be like, you have to do it. Like, I can't do it. Like, I'm going to lose my patience.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to tag team it.
Like, and
you have to tag team it to someone else.
Tag team it. And I think that is so healthy as a coach to be like, you know what?
But it's healthy that the parent recognizes that too.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's important, like, you know, sometimes he's like, you got to take him today. I can't. Like, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think it creates more of a healthier relationship. You know, like Grayson wants, yes, I'm there on the sidelines. Yes, he's hitting me up for snacks, but like he really does care about head coach dad and just dad.
Yeah.
You know,
he
like
does.
he really does.
That's why it's so important to wear those different hats.
Yeah. And like even my, you know, Keaton will tell me, like, I remember my dad coaching me and that was like our shared, like that was our thing. And in our car rides home, there wasn't like you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. Yeah, we talked about it if something bothered me, but it wasn't like the end all be all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's where sometimes parents, they want to control what their kids are doing. And I think they have the right intention because they want to talk about it. But sometimes maybe they're just not ready. Or maybe they just need, you know, it's hot outside. Maybe you just had like a 9-hour day on the field.
Give it a beat. Yeah.
Do you need to really have the conversation in the car about like a missed opportunity? What are you gaining?
Yeah. Or over analyzing the play.
Correct.
Like going into grand detail. And like to my point, like not every kid's going to remember when they messed up. Like they're kiddos. Not. Like, you know, sometimes they're like in the heat of it, they overthrew it or whatever. Give them grace. Right. You know, give the kiddo grace, give yourself grace. Like these are not perfect. They're not perfect robots. Like they're learning as they go. So give your child grace. Don't overanalyze it because sometimes it's going to go right over their head. And they're like, why are you screaming at me? Like what?
Right.
You know, and then the reason why you're trying to talk to your kid is like going in one ear and out the other because you're not communicating at this point. You're just chit-chatting and there's nothing really connecting.
Yeah.
So.
And I think also too, like maybe when you talk to the kids, like highlighting something like, hey, I saw that you missed that play, but like you recovered pretty quick and you didn't let that bother you. Like
you
I'm
them.
so proud of you. Or like even just talking about their mannerisms in the dugout. Hey, I saw you during the whole game, like cheering on your teammates. Like it doesn't, you know, you need leaders in sports. You need leaders in the dugout and not like ones that are like, you know, I know kids like pick on kids like that. It happens.
Yeah.
But that is stuff that like Grayson will shut down.
Yeah. Arya does that too.
If somebody says something like negative to him.
She's like, oop, zip it.
Yeah. Like it is like, I mean, you might as well just, I mean, again, he's just not mean. So he doesn't understand. And he's like, wait, we're on the same team. Like did you really problem? Just like, you know, like when you make an error, I don't sit there and, you know.
Talk about you.
Right. Like we all strike out. Like it's a fact. Like whether you're T-baller, whether you're at a professional level, it's just an aspect. So I think it's just, you know, also being a good teammate and like as a parent noticing like, hey, I saw you cheering on your team. I saw
the effort that you put in.
Right. I saw, just all those things. Like, oh, you know, like I love Noah and Grayson, like they're our catchers and they help each other put on their equipment. Like,
it's cute to see.
All that kind of stuff. Like, and that's where I think, you know, those are other things as a parent that you could talk about that are positive.
And also ask your kid, how did you feel about the game? How did you feel about what the umpire said or how that was called? Because they may be like, I was upset, but I understood or I get it now because the rules were explained to me versus just jumping the gun.
Right.
You know, ask them, how are they feeling about it? And then sometimes they'll just open up a little bit more, you know, instead of avoiding a whole fiasco.
Right.
That could be avoided if you just communicate, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, I think it's good. I think, and you know, it's so sad to see them going home and crying. And I know another topic parents always want to ask us is like, what do I do with that highly emotional player?
Yeah.
That like cannot let it go. That is like just literally melting in tears. Yeah. Like, how do I manage that?
Because those kids really care. Right. I feel like those kids that are like that is because they truly care. They care about what other people think. They care about what they think about themselves. So I feel like those kids really care. And it's all about that mindset and helping your kid walk through those development pieces because they are learning. There is a learning curve when you jump. For example, our boys are transitioning from machine pitch to kid pitch. Like that is a huge change. It's a different game, essentially, that they have to learn again. And at one point, they were T-ballers. They didn't know what they were doing either. You know, like it's just having that conversation with your kiddo and just knowing like, I know you care about this so much, but this is not all that you are kind of thing. And just having reassuring them that this is something that we do that you love.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to like learn to manage that. And let's find ways that we can either talk about it or you do a breathing technique or a mantra.
Right.
Our girl Ellen is amazing.
Yes.
And we talk about her all the time because she just brought so much good information and insight. Like, you know, you tell yourself like, this is not who I am. This is part of what I do kind of thing. And I think parent understanding that as well, because sometimes parents put that expectation, like my kid better not embarrass me out on that field, or why are they playing like garbage when I know that they can be better? Like, it's all about that expectation that you put on your kiddo and just communicating that. I feel like that's just, it really can make or break it, because I feel like as our kids get older, they're either going to continue loving the sport or they're going to absolutely hate it, because their emotions are running much higher. Their hormones are all over the place and they're navigating growing up as little humans. To then add that extra stress of like, I'm not good enough, or my parents don't feel like I'm good enough, not playing at that level that I know I can play at. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of stress.
Yeah. I also think it's like, you know, specifically certain players are always big hitters. And I think like them striking out is also hard because then they're like, wait, well, I like failed my team. Or like my parents are cheering for me and I didn't, you know, so like I didn't perform. So I think it's also that too. Like they're just used to always being at the top. And like sometimes it can be a really humbling sport. And one thing I liked is even last tournament, Keaton and Patrick were like, we are so proud of what you guys did. Like, we are not leaving here with our heads down. Like, we didn't come home with a big trophy.
Yeah. We got little
the
medals,
size of Brayden, but we got medals. But like,
size of Brayden.
You know, like, I'm proud of what you guys have done in a short amount of time. Like, you guys should be proud of yourself. And like, Patrick even brought a good point where like, because some of the boys were like, it wasn't a strike. And he was like, listen, umpires, it's their job to make the call. We don't have to agree with it, but they're like the final say, right? So if you're sitting there and we're in the first inning and you're still thinking about
that should have been
like, you're like, who can like move on? Like, we need to, you got to hit, you got to figure it out.
Refocus on the next task.
You know, and I think that it's so important to just even like, you know, I know we're talking about car ride, but like even at the end of the game, having that healthy conversation with the boys, and then like the parents should be, in my opinion,
involved in that part,
involved in the conversation, not at the car.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, get involved in the conversation, hear what the coaches have to say. If the coaches are like, hey, we're really happy with how things went.
Could you imagine if the coaches like were really happy and the parents like fuming?
Yeah, but I see it all the time.
Hopefully the parent can be like, okay, maybe I'm overreacting. Or like maybe I need to take it down a notch or so, because
But I see it all the time. And I think it's important to not always be negative. Like, you got to have fun with it. And they're all learning. You're, as a parent, listening to what the coaches are saying at the end of a tournament.
Yeah.
And like maybe bringing some of that up in the car, because you know, there are certain things that coaches are not going to talk to you about specifically with your child in a team setting. They're not going to be like, hey, I really wasn't happy that your child threw his helmet in the dugout, and like call him out in front of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so those are things that you can work on, have the conversation. But again, read your child's mannerisms and see if that's a good time to talk about it. Because you know what? If it's not, there's plenty of time over the weekend or even during the week. Like,
that's why there's the 24-hour rule.
Yes.
Where people just be like, listen, it was a heated game. 24 hours. Parents don't talk to coaches. Coaches don't talk to parents. And it just like, keep it locked in until you guys everyone settles down, the dust settles, and then you have good, healthy conversation that's productive and proactive versus being reactive to the situation.
And, you know, like, development is a journey, and it's a journey together.
Yeah.
So like, as the boys are developing and learning, like, we're learning as parents, we're learning as coaches.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just got to take it with a grain of salt and just remember that their little minds and like what they hear you say, you know, they're absorbing all of that information. And like, what do you want that last conversation to be like? Do you want it to be positive, or are you going to like hone on it all day?
And you also don't want to just focus on the win. Like, this is something that the kids need to remember from time to time, is that it's not winning the trophy every tournament. It's winning how you guys performed as a team. How did you guys overcome? You might have not overall played to win, but maybe the pitcher that was struggling on your team threw a bunch of strikes and did a great job. That right there is a win. You have to focus on those things and not just focus on the trophies, the plastic stuff that comes home kind of thing, you know?
Right.
I feel like there's so much more to focus on that's positive versus focusing on the negative kind of thing.
And I think, again, you're right. And when we do our surveys, because like we'll do surveys and we'll do like stories of polls and stuff.
Yeah.
And the top thing that parents and even coaches, everybody wants to see is development.
Yeah.
It's not the player's position. It's not where they're batting. It's, you know, a lot of parents had even like wrote in and were like, we really like team development and the dynamic. That was like their maybe top two, but development by far was number one. That's all they want to see.
Yeah.
And
I think we're in it for.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just some little stuff that we do, you know, in the car on the ride home.
Yeah.
You know, make it fun for the kids.
Yeah. We talk about a positive thing. What did you like? How did you feel? Like, what made you happy about your game today? What made you sad about it? Like, we talk about the emotions like inside out, like literally go in order. And I feel like that just is the healthy, fun ways to just like tune into their emotions and really just share like what they're feeling and then help navigate that. That's what we're there for. We're their social support.
Yeah. So our main focus usually when we're in that car ride is where are we eating?
Where's lunch?
Where's lunch? And then like as we're starting to drive, he'll kind of like chat it out. But
yeah. And sometimes you just need a good meal and just be like, then you talk
sometimes
about it.
You just need some air conditioning,
some good music,
good song, food, ready to go.
Yeah. Or sometimes they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's okay too.
That's okay too.
So, but I think at the end of the day, it's a family thing. And that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Focus on the family.
Always.
Always and always. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys like this episode, please make sure you click and subscribe and comment below and follow us along. And Rachel and I are so excited you're here. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And here's our mom highlight of the week from one of our MVP players. Enjoy.
Who is your favorite baseball player?
Aaron Judge.
Perfect. What is your mom's favorite color?
Pink.
Pink? What can you hear your mom yelling in the stands when you're up to bat?
Shohei Ohtani swing.
Perfect. What is one thing, if your mom could be any animal, what would she be and why?
Sloth.
A sloth, and why?
Because she's slow.
She's slow? Okay. What's your favorite snack that mom packs for you for baseball?
Doritos.
Doritos? Any specific kind?
The original one.
Ooh, nice. What is something special that your mom does for you?
Help me with my homework.
Oh, that's so nice. What do you want to be when you grow up?
MLB player.
MLB player? And what is your favorite thing that your mom cooks?
Chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice? Do you know what she likes to do in her free time?
Usually play with me.
Play with you? And then look in the camera and say one thing that you love about your mom.
She's kind.
Perfect. Great job, Tomas.